Okay, so welcome. Week 4, something interesting I've read earlier in the week. 8-week courses, research behind the very similar 8-week course with leaders out there in the business world, out there in the workplace. Significant changes in their neural network started to happen from around week 5. Now, I know that Sarah's noticed a few changes, perhaps, of things going on, and Matthew and Siegel, I wonder maybe if there's any changes been happening for yourself. No need to reply right now while we're on record, but I'm going to ask 3 questions towards the end of the session. Yeah, and you'll see those in the chat anywhere when I put those on now. So what am I learning? How am I changing? And what do I need to do to make the best of the next 4 weeks? So obviously, I need to sort my emails out. And for everyone who's not here live tonight and catching up on this, we'll aim to resolve this email thing. So week 4, we're going to touch base with the settling, grounding, resting in the second meditation. Okay, settling, grounding, resting. And this week, the focus will be coming back to the support of breathing, whereas last week the support was listening to sound. And it'd be interesting for you to judge which one works for you. Yeah, so some people really enjoy the returning to sound, and other people find it a lot more beneficial just to return to the breath. One of the big things about mindfulness meditation is you know what it's like sometimes when it's busy and rushed. It's hard to settle sometimes, and even me at the other end of this the video, a little bit flustered with our email problems, okay, and a little bit kind of bothered. It's like, oh, where is everybody? And then it starts all the mental chaos with kind of self-doubt, questioning, and there's all sorts running through my mind right now. But this is typical of all of us, isn't it? And what other ways can we employ, can we practice mindfulness in a meditative sense rather than just sitting still? Yeah, because sometimes I'm just too agitated to do that. Yeah, many of you have a busy life. I've had one of those days today. Lots of stuff running through my mind in general, and I've been trying to find stuff to mindfully occupy myself. And one of the big things that we can do is mindful movement. So not exercise, not to be jumping around and getting a sweat on or anything like that, but actually mindful movement, slow, purposeful movement of the body with no intention other than to be with myself and to direct my attention inside the body. So in a moment, I'm going to stand up and just run through a series. It doesn't have to be in order. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. If you have your own yoga practice or your own qigong practice, some of these moves may be familiar, but essentially I'm not going to overstretch anything. We've got Matthew here doing physiotherapy. We're not going to be looking to heal anything, stretch anything, repair anything. Just very slow, yeah, very slow movement of different parts of the body, but for us to get our attention inside and to get a sense of what's going on. So for example, for me, before I stand up, I have a little niggle in my shoulder. Yeah, so it's not to stretch it, it's not to aggravate it, it's not to force things to happen. I'm just going to try and get a little bit closer to it. Yeah, maybe breathing in and out with my imagination in that area to soften and soothe things a little, but to find out where that edge is of like, that's just enough. Yeah, that's close enough, or oh, there it is, it's just under the shoulder blades. And you may have your own niggles, your own aches and pains going on, or not. You just might have a busy mind, and a little bit of mindful movement has the potential to move your focus, attention and awareness out of this space and down into the body. So let me stand up and arrange things with the microphone and the camera a little bit. I'm going to invite you to take part. Whether you do that or not, your choice, but at least you get an idea of where I'm going with this, and towards the end, maybe a little bit of mindful walking, even though that I've only got a limited space to walk up and down, but to give you the idea that even when you're out and about in the wider world, we can slow things down and we can put our attentions down into the body and down into the feet and just focus, if we can, a lot more on the way the body's moving and the way that the body's walking. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, I think I've resolved the bell issue. So I've got my feet on the floor in parallel with shoulders, just kind of straight down, with a slight bend in the knees, and my feet, I'm a little bit flat-footed, so I'm just being very aware of kind of moving my feet and trying to get a bit of an arch going on in my toes and a slight grip on the toes a little bit. It's kind of grounding and feeling a bit more solid on the floor. Yeah. Alongside my feet, bent knees, and that parallel kind of situation, I'm also going to tuck my chin in slightly and raise the neck very gently upwards a little bit, as if there's a cord just hanging the shoulders off. Yeah. So if I do that a little bit and just let my hands rest, for me, I'm noticing that niggle in the shoulder. Okay. You may start to notice your own kind of niggles or tiredness, or just the general oddness of actually just standing up and not doing a lot. Yeah. So you have belly button. I'm just going to invite you to place your hands over the belly button a little bit and focus on our breathing. Okay. So instead of sitting down, we're now standing up, and for you to be counting the 3 to 4 on the in breath and 3 to 4 on the out breath, but actually focusing a little more on, as we're standing up, breathing in kind of around the belly area. So as I'm breathing in, the belly goes out. As I'm breathing out, I'm just noticing, I'm just pulling in the belly slightly. Yeah. So Kumar, welcome. We've had a little problem with the emails, but thank you for joining us. I'm currently standing up with my feet parallel with my shoulders, feet kind of straightened as well, and I've got an arch going on and toes into the ground a little bit, focusing on our breathing. And then I'm going to loosen my arms, okay, and then just gently, I'm going to start keeping my feet a lot looser. So if if your toes need to move, if your feet need to move, and as I speed that up, you'll notice my arms just get a little bit higher. Yeah. So not exercise, more just mindful movement, and letting or allowing your arms just to be very loose. So as I'm being that, I'm feeling some tension, some pressure in these areas. Remember again, the attention is, what is your mind activity like, and can you direct it into the movement that you're doing currently? Okay. To warm things up a little bit, I've got a fist shape and later on like a beak shape, and I'm just going to gently tap all the way up. Yeah. Oh, onto my shoulders. Yeah, turning my arms around a little bit. So you may prefer a gentle tap with a fist, you may prefer a gentle tap. It's a bit more precise on certain areas. So for me, just around the elbow, there's some tension. Yeah, So it's becoming familiar with your own body and how it's feeling. So, you know, giving it some attention, some love. Oh, tense shoulders. Yeah. So if you know yourself, you can be a bit more forceful or a little more gentle, depending on how we are today. Yeah. And if you do find a particular spot, so I have a spot there. There's the elbow, but the spot is kind of there. It's quite tense, and I'm just going to give that a little more attention. So I'm not trying to fix. I'm just curious, moving around that area of tension, perhaps just finding the edge. Yeah, no way here trying to fix things, understand things. It's just awareness of like, oh, that's far enough. Yeah. So, and the same thing with the fists again. I'm just going to go onto the back very gently, tapping up and down the back and the kidney areas. Again, you can do that for as long or as little as you need to, but it's just, again, being curious. I mean, how often do we do that? And where is the tension? Yeah. A lot of these very simple moves are taken from the world of Qigong, kind of a Chinese understanding of the body and the way the energy flows. In a mindful meditation sense, we're not here to understand that, but it's to mindfully get inside how my body is feeling, how my body is moving. Yeah. So wrists, not clenched, but just gently moving the wrists. You've had a hard day. I've been writing a lot, typing a lot. Yeah. Maybe even elbows. Yeah. If you are participating, how is it feeling for you? I've got one arm, again, a little stiffer than the other arm. The left arm here is very different to the right arm. I am left-handed. So yeah. Maybe a gentle swimming motion. I have noticed my body is warming up. Maybe a backwards motion. Again, not exercise. Let's not stretch here. It's just awareness of maybe just where those limits are of how far I can go. Not as a competition, but just as curiosity. Yeah. Because we're wanting to be inside the body. Yeah. You might stop and just check out the breathing. Can we notice the breathing from the belly, filling up the belly area and then moving up to the chest and maybe expanding the chest area? So stomach first, and then up and hold. Wait a while until you're ready to breathe in again, in through the stomach. Move it up to the chest. Hold. So I'm just going to hold my hands very loosely around the belly button area, and I'm going to flex my knees and just slightly go further down. Again, perhaps take your legs slightly wider than shoulder level, feet pointing forwards. Imagining as we breathe, perhaps a golden ball or a coloured ball, or just a bit of energy perhaps. And then we're going to lift it and breathe in and push it away. Again, as the arms fall down, we can begin to gather the breath. But these movements aren't forced in any way. Keep everything really gentle. Yeah. And perhaps we could do that 4 or 5 times. Notice perhaps body weight on the floor. Any tingles or sense of moving the air with our hands. A sense of rhythm with the breathing in and letting go on the out breath. So on our own, then it is to do this as much as we want, as long as we want. Now I'm just going to change the direction here, breathing in and then down, as if I'm pushing the energy or the air, my breath, my troubles, yeah. Maybe even sinking a bit lower in the knees as you push down. And then rising a little bit on the knees as you breathe in. So tuning into the rhythm of this, tuning into how your body is coordinating. Putting both my hands parallel and relaxing the hands, yeah. And I'm just going to raise the arms with just enough tension and breathe in. Holding and then relax and breathe out. So breathing in. And of course, we can make up our own movements. Yeah. Yoga is beneficial, but yoga is a stretching-based, almost achievement-based activity. Some of these moves I'm doing now are taken from Tai Chi, Qigong, very slow. Yeah, we're not tensing anything, but consciously slowing down. Yeah, I could imagine maybe just moving my arms from left to right, as if my arms are on top of, again, some kind of energy or a ball or some water. And it's not to be perfect with this. You know, I'm bending my legs as I do this, and you know, depending on how comfortable you are and where you are, it's doing your own thing, isn't it? Another Qigong move would be something like this: raise the arm up and push, yeah, and swap. Yeah. So it's different. A typical Qigong move for anxiety would be to lift one arm up as if you're lifting tension or the thoughts of the day, grabbing it and just pushing it away, but very gently, yeah. Then with the other arm, breathing in. As I'm turning, I'm kind of moving my ankles and my feet. If we did go to a Chinese kind of Qigong class, then we would be practicing these different movements and doing them 20 to 30 times each, you know, with 30-minute to an hour kind of movement routine. With mindful movement and a more relaxed approach to our bodies, we can be doing anything. You know, it could be just lifting a cup of tea and being mindful about it. Yeah. And perhaps the meditation which is on the resource, it does encourage us bit by bit to move the body over a 20-minute period. But for now, I'm going to encourage you to maybe not to walk around the house, but let's go and do something purposeful. So if we need a comfort break, or perhaps let's go on to the kitchen and boil a kettle for a cup of tea. But on the way, the only thing that we have to do is to slowly walk there. Now I'm going to use my hands as an example. So our feet, you know, what does it take to lift the foot up and then to put the ankle and the heel back down again? Yeah. And at what point does the second foot lift up and put down? So it's not walking unconsciously. It's actually being very mindful of the steps we need to take. So perhaps the challenge would be to go for the comfort break, maybe a couple of minutes. I'll look at the time in a moment. Or to go and to boil the kettle, but we're taking it at this pace. Yeah, you can have your hands however you want. Yeah, down by the side or wherever's comfortable. But it's so. Before I move my left leg, I'm noticing that the weight is on the right-hand side of my body. I'm lifting the left leg and I'm moving slowly forward. Yeah. And then the ankle is on the floor and the toes are slowly meeting the floor as my right hand foot is starting to lift off the floor. And how much weight, I'm losing my balance, how much weight do we need to move on to the left before we move on to the next one? Yeah. So very slowly, very gently. Let's have a look at the time here. So we've got 17:53. How about 5 minutes, or we will reconvene in 7 minutes on the hour? Okay. I'll start on the hour. For you to take a very slow walk mindfully, notice how uncomfortable it is, notice how difficult it is, or the opposite, it may be easy. It's like, oh, well, this is very pleasant. My guess is it's like, oh, I don't normally walk like this, and it's like this feels a bit forced. Great, because this is what we're here to do, isn't it? Disrupt the routine, disrupt the pattern, slow down. And an additional challenge, if you go to the kettle, turn the kettle on, the challenge is, let's not do anything else other than walk up and down waiting for the kettle to boil. Resist that temptation to go and empty the dishwasher, to go and put the washing in. Yeah, 100 other things to do. Can we stay in the body? Just flick the kettle on, maybe get the cup out slowly. But when we're still waiting and we're noticing a bit of impatience, just move mindfully. Okay, so off you pop. I'll just be walking up and down. I'll see you on the hour. Yes, Matthew.
Can I do this with my Xbox instead?
I'm not. You can do it whatever you need to do to get any kind of sense of just going slow. Yeah. Yeah. There's no. Again, I guess there's no right or wrong to this. Yeah. And we've all got different living situations right now. If you want to chill out and do the Xbox until the hour, then can we? What's it like to go slow, to actually feel the weight of the control? Yeah, to feel the contact with our.
Like flick it on, but not go on it. If you get what I mean. You know how you were saying with the kettle, like resist the temptation.
Go for it, and feedback later. Yeah, go for it.
I might do it with my phone instead because I'm more on that. So.
That's fine. But for everyone else, let's reconvene in 5 minutes on the hour. Meanwhile, I'll just Be walking up and down. Perhaps if you notice your mind starts to take over and you're thinking about things, stop. Reconvene in the body, or whatever activity that you're doing. So I'm standing up, so feet back on the ground. Yeah. Move attention back in and, start moving again. Trying to train the mind and that we're in charge, and with like saying, stop, I'm here, I'm in the body, this is what we're doing. Okay, so I'm just going to realign my body again, and when I'm ready, Okay. I'm going to stop the recording for you all.